The main topic of our group's blog is advocacy for the legalization of marijuana. This is a topic that has gained a lot of buzz in the media recently, and this is one of the reasons we have decided to focus on it. For my individual portion of the blog, I will focus on marijuana dispensaries. There are countless new laws and issues surrounding the recent increase of dispensaries, which makes this topic very exigent. Through my research, I was able to gain information on a lot of aspects of dispensaries. I will start with a brief summary of the background of marijuana in general, and then medical marijuana. Following this, I will discuss what information I discovered on the benefits and risks of marijuana dispensaries. Finally, I will end by connecting my research findings to the overall topic of legalizing marijuana. Cannabis, or more commonly known as marijuana, dates back as far as the 3rd millennium BC. It originates from Central and South Asia. It is most likely that marijuana was first used for recreational or religious purposes, as well as for hemp and fiber. However, today it can be used for a variety of reasons. The United Nations speculates that 4% of the United States population uses marijuana on a regular basis. It is now mainly used for recreational purposes and more recently for medicinal purposes. In 1975, the FDA established the Compassionate Use Program, which began research on the possible uses of medical marijuana. In the following year, California's Compassionate Act was passed, making it the first state to allow the use of medical marijuana. 4 years later, in November of 2000, Colorado's Amendment 20 was passed, which allowed the use and distribution of medical marijuana. Now that some background information has been addressed, I will now discuss the main focus of my research, which is medical marijuana dispensaries. I will focus on Colorado dispensaries in particular. In June of this year, House Bill 1284 was passed, which drastically altered Colorado's previous laws regarding medical marijuana dispensaries. This law established a number of new provisions. The law requires that medical marijuana dispensing facilities obtain state and local licenses. They must also be in compliance with all local zoning codes. Dispensaries are required to pay a state licensing fee and cannot be located closer than 1,000 feet from a school or daycare. Operators of facilities must oversee at least 70% of the marijuana cultivation that is dispensed at their facility. Dispensary owners are also required to undergo criminal background checks by the state. This bill also gives local municipalities the authority to prohibit the opening of new dispensaries in their communities. It is speculated that under these new regulations, hundreds of dispensaries will be forced to close. The main benefit of allowing dispensaries is that they benefit those with illnesses. Without these facilities, it would be more difficult for suffering individuals to acquire the medical marijuana that they require. If taxes are placed on dispensaries and the marijuana that they sell, this can also generate profit for state governments. However, there are also various risks that are associated with dispensaries. For example, in 2007 in Los Angeles, 11 search warrants were obtained and the dispensaries in question were placed under investigation. The operations found that the establishments were being used as drug trafficking organizations. This can obviously be very dangerous to the communities and citizens of those communities that the dispensaries are located in. Also, more recently, dispensaries have been making cookies and other edibles that contain marijuana. This can be tempting to children and teenagers, which might lead to bigger problems. The countless benefits dispensaries provide to individuals suffering chronic pain and other serious illness outweigh the few risks they present. For these reasons, dispensaries should be allowed to operate and serve their customers. This would be a much easier point to argue if marijuana in general was legalized. Therefore, within the context of marijuana dispensaries and outside of it, I advocate for the legalization of marijuana.